Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Night One. Listen, they were dragging your girl Vanessa to the hilt. Now, of course, some of the messages you might not have seen, but I will show you them. I'll slow it down so you can actually read some of the messages. But she deleted a recent post on her Instagram, which kind of went a little bit viral, and then many people were commenting and saying their piece. And in fact, if you go on her Instagram right now, you'll see that people have been commenting and telling her exactly how they feel about her hosting. She has become the latest villain of the show of Love Is Blind, and rightly so. When you ask questions that are about people and their ability to rear children, you're going to cause a stir. When you don't hold people equally accountable, but let the people that are the villains of the show, of the season, without questioning them go, you're going to be an issue. When you start, being so hard on Marshall but letting Jackie go, you're going to have an issue, right? And, generally, unfortunately, her hosting skills just weren't up to par. But we're going to talk a little bit about her villainary ways and kind of break down a few other things as well, because I really do feel like we need to talk about the fact that accountability is a sickness. It's a sickness for some people. It's a sickness. It's a virus. Yeah, it's a virus for some people. That's it. Accountability is a virus for some people. You understand? So we're gonna break that down as well for her. Talk about the fact that her energy as well dwarfs Nick's as well, and not in a good way. And the fact that final point we're gonna discuss a little bit later on this particular review also is the fact that she has mean girl energy vibes. And when we drop a part 2, we're gonna talk about how actually Paul actually addressed Vanessa's behavior on the reunion. We'll do it on a separate video as well for you guys. So if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor. I want you to like it. I want you to share. I want you to subscribe to this great channel, because we create great content around here. Then click on that bell button and click on the black bell so you get notified of all the uploads and when we go live as well. I hate for you to miss these lives that we do throughout the course of the week. We've got one tomorrow. We've got another one on Saturday as well. So we've got so many coming up this week. Don't miss out. Okay. All right. So let's get into this video. Don't waste much time. This is crazy, baby. It's crazy. Okay, so let's get into some of these messages that was being shown here as well. Hopefully you guys can see it, but I want to start with the very first one, because I think, was that the first one? It was the first one. Okay, fine, it was the first one, because she deleted this post. Okay, first and foremost, look how many she had. 784,849 views on this particular post that she put up on her particular profile. And then when it came to the comments, oh my days, baby, they broke that girl down. Let me just have a look. Okay. One of the comments that was here that said, look, by Lily Witover, I think she said, I lost so much respect for you after this reunion. You target these men and you always take the devil's side. You did not ask Jackie any real questions, but when it came to Marshall, you passively aggressively attacked him while asking questions. It's really unfortunate that the host is so biased. Jackie was horrible, period. End of discussion. And you made it seem like she was an angel victim. Really sucks. And I won't be watching anymore because of you. Thank God you were not in a perfect match. I hope you take a look at yourself as a host, because it was a poor job at best. You were unfair to Marshall completely and questioned everything he said with passive-aggressive comments, and let Jackie speak her truth without a single question asked. Yo, she got 1,442 likes, B. Like, they weren't playing about. Okay, all right. Jennifer said, and I won't play all the comments. I'll just read one or two. Jennifer said, Vanessa, you speaking for the audience and saying we don't think Micah is out there for blood? Nah, she was there to make herself look better by throwing Paul under the bus. Zach was on point, and you just dismissed the inside info he was about to give us. Boo! Now let's be real. Let's be freaking real on this aspect, right? She definitely did. She allowed Micah to become this victim that she wanted her to become, right? Rather than holding her accountable. Okay. And so what it did is it put all the emphasis back onto Paul about how bad he is. But the reality was, we know that Michael was moving mad, bullying people throughout the course of the season. But you want to try and hold Paul to a higher regard because he said he didn't think she had motherly instincts. Well, I mean, do you see what we saw? Because you might question whether she got the maternal instinct too, if she treat people the way she treat people. Right. So, and here's my thing about Vanessa Lachey, or is it Lachey, or how do you pronounce it? Y'all correct me. Lachey, sorry, Lachey. Now, the reality is that with Vanessa, where is the accountability? Where's the accountability? You have seen, you've come onto Twitter, you've gone onto TikTok, you've gone onto Instagram. They are breaking you down on every platform. Okay, where is your accountability to come out and say, guys, you know what? I've looked back on it, and I can see where you guys are coming from. I could have done a better job as a host. What I'm going to do next time is make sure I'm better prepared. Blah, blah, blah. Like something just to, you could have even lied. You could have even lied. I'm not saying you should, but I'm saying you could have, right? But you ain't do that. You ain't come out and tell us. In fact, you deleted a post which was holding you accountable and telling you that you weren't doing a good enough job as a host. In fact, they're trying to get rid of you for next season. They don't want to see you. Now, Nick is catching strays because he's with you, but the reality is they spoke about you. No one else. You. They want you gone. You know what I'm saying? They want you gone. No one else, just you. So deep it that you're now in a place where they're looking at you some type of way and they're looking at your performance and saying your performance was inconsistent with the quality of the show that was put together. This season was crazy good. Let's be honest. The season was crazy good. Jackie was a menace. Irina was a menace. Michael was a menace. Kwame was a menace. Chelsea was a menace. Zach was a menace. There's so many people that were a menace on the show. Marshall a menace in different ways, but not necessarily a toxic aspect, just menaces in different ways, which really allowed for us to have a great scope of conversation over the course of the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's probably one of the best seasons I've ever watched of Love is Blind, if I'm honest with you. One of the best, because there were so many different moving components and conversations that could have been had. Now, for you to end on that note, first and foremost, the live didn't go the way it needs to go. So it's added more pressure and it's added more emphasis and it's added more visual onto Vanessa's poor hosting skills. Now, she had done this last season. I don't think she was great either. But again, we're back here again with her hosting skills. So she has to work on that. And what it could have been was an accountability piece. But no, she didn't want to be accountable. She wants to blame. She wants to, leave it as it is, delete a post rather than looking and going, actually, maybe what could I have changed? What could I have done better? Right? Okay. Now, my thing also as well is her energy seems to always dwarf Nick. I always feel like she just dwarfs his energy, and that the energy is not the same. And maybe that's him just being more calm and chill, but she'd be doing too much sometimes. Just have a look.
On the internet are savage. Y'all found a video and you slowed it down where Paul is leaving the bridal suite. Y'all put an arrow where he's trying to move his way out of the bridal suite.
Now, this was a very tame example, and I don't think it's even a great example of her actually being overzealous in comparison to Nick. But if you watch the whole reunion, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Her energy was overbearing at points, and her facial expressions were way too much and way too exaggerated for what some of the things were being said. Her energy towards some of the castmates, i.e. the men, her energy was just, it was too much. Okay, and it was frustrating to watch. I think also another thing is, again, I kind of said it earlier on, but her competency skill in actually being able to hold that conversation, but being able to flow with the conversation and be able to ask really succinct, good questions in regards to some of the castmates. Right, there were key questions that need to be answered, or at least asked, which would have helped us understand a bit more about some of the castmates. This was a live, so what she should have done is had questions ready, because she had a whole post on her Instagram talking about how, you know what, she was going to ask certain questions. But the reality was, we didn't get half the questions that could have been answered. Let me just show you another tab. Someone, I think this is by Savannah Yo Red or whatever. Apologies. She put up a post on Twitter, which was really great as well. She put up a post on Twitter where she said some of the questions that could have been asked. And I'm not going to say all of it, but some of this was a great question. She said, Josh, what is the purpose other than to stir the pot? Did you go on Love is Blind? Do you feel embarrassed and regret your behavior? Jackie, what was it like cheating on your fiance on national television? Why are you lying about the timeline events? Can you break down what you mean by designer man? Paul, respectfully, what do you see in Micah other than a beautiful girl? What was it like for you watching Micah overly flirt with Kwame? Micah, do you feel embarrassed or do you regret entertaining Kwame? And why you're engaged to Paul? Kwame, are you willing to be honest and consider admitting you settled for Chelsea? I'd also like to know if you feel embarrassed or regret your cowardly behavior when you unshamingly flirt with Micah on multiple inappropriate occasions. Like, these are one of the questions that need to be happening. All right, I loved what she put there. Great work. There was a lot of more questions that could have gone into depth. Now, some of those questions she did ask, and there was a whole bunch of questions that lady put there, which I loved, by the way. So shout out to her. But there was a lacking of depth. We got more from the people that did the YouTube interviews than the live reunion. The reunion is far too late. A whole year is far too late. People are over it. They are done with it. Emotions are finished. I need you to be doing reunions much closer to the time, people. 1 year is ridiculous. COVID done finish in 2021. So let's stop that. All right, ridiculous. You know, sometimes I think about COVID. I think to myself, wow, COVID was only like a few years ago. And so my final point is also too, I think the reason why she actually started to identify with Micah, Jackie, Micah, Jackie, and Irina in some aspects where she wasn't going so hard on them. Maybe more Irina than anybody. She went hard on, but not so much Micah and Jackie, because I don't know why. But the reality is, it sounded like she had Mean Girl vibes, and even the energy she has. I think people kind of picked up on it. The energy they felt even towards Nick. They felt something sorry for Nick. They were asking like, "Yo, is Nick okay? Is Nick all right? You know, is he okay? Because it seems like he might be suffering a little bit." Have a little clip. Look at this clip here that they played of Vanessa and Nick. They're zooming in on his face. You look like he's suffering. You're like, I don't know what the frick's going on. You know what I mean? But brother's suffering. He in pain. Now, you know, so it's stuff like that, and then, you know, of course, there was other things as well. But for me personally, I don't want to see necessarily Lauren and Cameron be hosts. No, I don't need that. Their energy is very calm and very cool, and I want to keep it that way. We don't need them as hosts. What I need is somebody who's going to get to the grit, to the dirt, and get stuck in and get messy. Now, when I say messy, I don't mean get gossipy. I mean get messy as in get your hands dirty, as in start asking some real darn questions that are going to really test people and say, hey, is this really real? Right? The grilling needs to happen. You know what I mean? You done this, and this. We need to ask you real questions. That's what I want to see. So let me know your thoughts down below about what you thought about it. But she's getting dragged to the high hilt. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. They're not sparing her. YouTube, they're not sparing her one instance. That girl can't breathe wherever she goes. Let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. We'll see you again soon. Baby! Little black book. You know what time it is.